Hey everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we are going to be doing a crazy unboxing. I was at a London coin show about 6 to 8 weeks ago, and I met some really awesome dealers. And so I was coordinating a sale with one of them, who really friendly guy. I was excited about it. I said, hey, I'm interested in hammered coins. I'm interested in milled coins. I like King George, and would love to get some more great United Kingdom inventory. And he was like, yeah, I'll send you some coins. And so lo and behold, I get a package in the mail, and basically I've sent him the money, and I'm gonna go and look at the coins, but I didn't know that I was buying them, and it's only gonna be something that I'm willing to do with this guy. Super friendly. Again, can't speak highly of him enough, but it was kind of awesome and a little bit crazy because normally you don't get an international package where you've got no idea that you're even receiving it, and technically you've already bought them. So I doubt I'll have to send them back, but we're going to open this thing up, see what's inside, and hoping that my $1,000 is going to be well spent. And here we have the coins. As I opened the package, I just figured that from a viewing perspective, it would be a lot easier to just put everything out. Then I can do a little bit of research as well, think through kind of how I've done here. And so we really hit a wide range of English coins going back not quite all the way to 1066, the Battle of Hastings, but pretty soon after, I guess you could say. And so this one will be one of the earliest coins. This one's fairly worn. We've got a Henry III. His son is going to be Edward I, who we talk about a fair bit longer. But this is going to be a shorter cross, so it doesn't extend all the way across the back of the penny. And Henry is going to reign for a fairly long time, most of the 1200s, but he's going to die while his son Edward is actually crusading. And so there we had prior a half penny, a full penny. This is a half penny. It's looking right at us, and it's different from having a cut full penny. And so you can see here the cross is going to be a lot longer. It extends all the way through the reverse, and here you can see the face kind of staring right back at us, Edward I. And so he actually was a crusader. He went all the way to fight in the Holy Lands in the 1270s, and it's on his way back from whatever, Jerusalem or wherever he was, that he found out that his father had passed and that he needed to basically ascend the throne. And so over here we have a couple of quarter pennies as well. That one is in particularly better condition. Both have very pleasing reverses and are remarkably intact after such a long time. I think here is another half penny that I think is pretty solid looking. Nice obverse portrait. This is a much bigger denomination there. I'm seeing that there's going to be some Edward III. Edward II was kind of crazy. He was not too popular, fought a lot. He got deposed by his wife and her lover, and then he leads a coup d'etat against his mother, and is able to wrestle back power, but a groat is going to be about 4 times the size of a penny. And so while this one and this one, both are fairly worn, they're also in pretty good shape for, considering that they're fairly thin 700-year-old British coins. Maybe they're only 650 years old or so. But again, these things are real, been around for a long time. There we see the London Civitas London, which is frequently found on the pennies as well. And then we get into some of the other hammered coinage. So out here, I guess we have an Edward IV. That's a half penny. Edward IV, he's going to come actually not right on the heels of the third. He's coming back in the mid-1400s, and then we speed through another 100 years. And we have Queen Elizabeth I. We all know Queen Elizabeth II, who had reigned 1952 to 2022. 1561, though. Much earlier. It's nice to have the date on there. I could, if I was being nitpicky, I could say that I wished that Elizabeth's portrait was a little bit stronger, but you can see the crown. You can see her face. And that's going to conclude the hammered pennies. We also got some interesting, this one's Irish. But King George, he was a bit of a spendthrift apparently. And I'm not as familiar with the pricing on a lot of these, not even on the British Hammered either. King George III, he lost America, and he was also sometimes, like, I think insane. And it's crazy to think, I saw something like Jamaica was producing 10 times the profit of all the North American colonies combined. So that always kind of stands out. Here we have a reasonably affordable looking 1791 King George II. He would have been the last British monarch to lead troops in battle. I'm not sure where, maybe I doubt it was the 7 Years' War, though it could have been. Also suppresses the Jacobites, but I'm pretty sure it's Jacobites because probably House of Jacob. And then a cheaper halfpenny of his reign. This is going to be a George III, and it's at a time where they bring in the cartwheel pennies and cartwheel halfpennies. They also are producing a ton of Condor tokens all throughout because there was such a big shortage of small change. There's a 1742 Hibernius, I think Irish halfpenny, and then here we have a very nice looking Britannia with some old tone 1806. And then over here I'll also mention apparently big spendthrift 1826 King George in very nice condition, bronze halfpenny. Down there we've got a farthing 1773 Revolutionary War issue of King George III. That is a pretty coin, but I'll see if I am able to get whatever $65 for it or so. There's a more worn example. And then last but not least, but probably more towards least, are some of these British silver coins. So these were, I've got somebody who buys them off of me, 1889. This one is going to be a half crown, who'll pay just back a melt. There I think we've got something in the 1830s, King William IV. Also an earlier type, 1821 is going to be King George. I think, yeah, that would be King George IV as well. And then here is kind of a Gothic style Queen Victoria, who reigned from 1837 to 1901. If you didn't know, here we're going to have MDCCCL, so XX is going to be 50, 10, 10, 2, 1872. And then we've got some of the much later. It's cool to see all the King Georges. This is King George V, who presides during World War I for a fairly long time, and then King George VI overseas from 36 to 52. A lot of things, like giving India independence and a lot of the colonial empire sort of coming to a close. So anyways, this I think, and so I think some of these I probably didn't do quite as well on, but also I feel like it's just very interesting hunt, great for me to stock my inventory with some of this material, which I don't really have, and I'm excited to kind of do some price discovery and understand, okay, what can I actually sell one of these for as I start selling more of it, can then, as I get in bunches, can keep some for my collection, and the cycle should keep going. So I feel like as crazy as the intro was, and as crazy as it is to get a package in the mail that you pay $1,000 for that you didn't know was coming and had no idea what was in there, very fun, and I'll maybe do this video again as I get more packages. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to head on over to treasuretown.com and sign up for our email list to stay up to date on everything that's happening, whether it's auction updates, exciting new inventory drops, coin collecting news, or general informational resources. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on another one.